Hi there and welcome to a new video in which I want to address the key difference between Godot and Unity to the physics, or well, at least the default to the physics that they both have. And in order to do this, I have created a pretty similar project in both Godot and Unity. To basically have a rigid body over here with a physics material with bounce set to 100%. As you can see, I cannot put more bounciness, and just a static body, okay? So when I play this, you will see the following results, okay? So we have a result that is quite similar to real life. Basically, as you can see, the ball is getting closer and closer to the ground, and exactly this is the behavior that we would be getting in real life. Now let me open up over here Unity. I am using Unity 6, as you can see over here. Exactly 6.0.24 F1 if you want to know the exact version. And the project is quite similar, okay? We just have the ground that has a box collider and a sprite. It also has just a rigid body to be able to detect things, but it is a static. And then the rigid body, okay, with a rigid body, in this case dynamic. And I also assign this physics material with the bounciness set to 1. Once again, like 100% of bounciness. So let me now play this, and we are going to actually be seeing the differences right away. Basically, what is happening here is the exact opposite as what was happening in Godot. This time, the ball, or well, the object that is bouncing, constantly forces are being added. Instead of having a force pulling down the object, or a force pulling down the object and reducing the velocity and the jump height, well, as you can see, it is actually increasing the height. Of course, you would still be able to get both results in any of the engine. I mean, you could get the same result that you have in Godot in Unity, and you can get this exact same result of Unity in Godot by just toggling some pretty basic settings. But well, these are the default physics that both of them currently provide. So let me wrap up the conclusions that we can make. So first of all, Godot has a more realistic approach, much closer to real life, as the ball is losing speed, and the gravity pulls down the ball basically, as in real life, and the gravity is always making sure that the ball is losing speed. And something for you to know is that Godot is and has been, and probably for a long time is going to be criticized for lacking accuracy in some behaviors. And this is not something that is easy to demonstrate here in a YouTube video, because these are things that you will only realize while you're creating a physics-based game, or a game that heavily relies on physics. If you just want to have a pretty simple physics behavior, or if your game doesn't really need any kinds of physics, this is not something to worry about. But even sometimes for pretty simple behaviors that you want to create, for example a bowling game or something like that, with the default settings of Unity, you can usually just get started and create your own things, whereas in Godot you may have to play around a little bit with the physics engine. And anyway, the fact here is that it's always being criticized, okay? There aren't many people out there criticizing the Unity physics engine, because, well, it has been existing for much more time than Godot physics. So, well, that's why Unity physics are probably much more polished. Well, on the side of Unity, the approach that is taken is less realistic, of course, because in real life, if you throw a ball, the result that you're going to be getting is quite close to what we saw in Godot. So what happens here is that the gravity is actually like pulling up the ball when there is that bounciness. Of course, always in any engine, by default, the gravity will pull down objects, but the thing is that actually gravity will add up some force when there is a bounce. So that's what I wanted to meant over there, and of course this is contrary to real life. And well, on the other hand, Unity is known for being accurate in a lot of situations and also quite flexible. And in general is more polished, as I was mentioning. So what should you do right now with these differences? What you have to know and always consider, not only in this aspect but in anything, is that they are just different. Both engines are amazing, but they are different. If you want to create a game that will heavily rely on physics, you can still sort it out in Godot, okay? Because its physics engine is still quite good, it lets you customize a lot of things, so you will eventually get to a pretty decent result, but in Unity you may be able to get to that exact same result or even better in less time. So as I was mentioning, both all these behaviors can be modified because both engines are great. But well, see, if you are able to get a pretty good result without changing stuff, without having to tweak 1000 settings, or well, maybe 1000 is a little bit too much, but well, you get the point. It is going to be easier. And always consider this. Godot is said to have less polished physics engine, and you probably, it's most impossible to provide here an exact example because these are things that you will only realize when you are using the physics engine in a project that may take some weeks, some months to develop. And when you develop that exact same game in Unity, you will realize that it is generally easier. So if you heavily rely on physics for the project that you have to create, you can still do it in Godot, but in general it's going to be easier in Unity. So that's all that I wanted to mention, so subscribe for more information.